Come on. There we go. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Barry is there, buried behind his mic.
What's up?
What's up? Thanks for everybody coming, hanging out with us. We're going to hang out here for a few minutes, get some people in. I got everything going. I think I got it right this week. I got Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, everything's going. So, if you're not on one of those platforms, then I'm sorry. So we'll hang out here for a few minutes and we'll get rocking and rolling with the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we our last podcast we were at a preview of Scream and Stream. Unfortunately, it was impossible to live stream out there. On top of the fact it was pouring rain, so the live stream would not have sounded that great.
Yeah, we were out there in the middle. It's way out there in the middle of nowhere out there in Kissimmee. So we did a little a speed test from where we were recording the podcast, which is they have a little barbecue restaurant there, and we were doing a speed test. And I was like, yeah, we're not going to be able to do a live stream. But we did record it, and we actually got the video version up today on our YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check that out, you can go check that out. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rena, hello. James, hello. Ryan, finally catching a live stream. Don't you watch it anyways? Have you not been watching?
What are you doing? I mean,
shame on you.
I'm sorry. He's been watching baseball, I believe.
Yeah, baseball. That's one sport that I could not get into is baseball. I do enjoy going to a baseball game, but I cannot watch a baseball game on TV. I can't.
Yeah, I loved it when I was younger, but no. Yeah. Hockey is about one of the few things I still like. So, which is going on right now.
Yeah,
the Lightning apparently are kicking the Islanders' asses.
Really?
Yes.
I do want to get Jordan to a Solar Bears game because my dad took me to the Orlando Solar Bears when I was little, and they're so much fun. So. Oh gosh. Hey guys, welcome. We got a bunch of people, so I think we can
let's get this going.
Yeah, let's get this going while we have a crowd. Give me a few seconds, guys. I'm gonna mute us and we'll get going here with the podcast. Thanks for joining. Just give me a minute. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast. I'm Clint.
I'm Barry.
And we are back. As we were just discussing before we went live here, hopefully everybody enjoyed our episode from Scream and Dream.
Yeah, you screwed it up already.
Well, that's just it. I try to get it. I try to not say stream and scream or
Scream and Stream.
Yeah. I have it going through my head. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed our episode from Scream and Stream. And we had a lot of fun out there hanging out with the guys, checking it out, they gave us a driving tour of it. And I'm really excited about it. I know we didn't get time to kind of give our thoughts because we recorded the podcast first and then we did a tour. So I don't know Barry, what did you think based upon the little bit that we got?
The little bit you guys got, I got a second bigger bit.
That's right, you did.
A few days later, thanks to my other job, and got to see 4 additional scenes. Whether these are they will find the final version of these scenes, we'll see. But I was impressed.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really, really cool haunt, and unlike anything I think most people around here have experienced before. On the fact that just you're going to be driving in your car through this. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
That was the one big thing that everybody was, concerned about driving through it, and now that we got to see it, That was one thing that I was concerned about, was like, how is this going to work? It just didn't sound safe, and I think that was one of the first things we talked about with the guys, and they kind of went over how they're going to do things. So anyways, let's dive into this week's episode. We have a lot to talk about. Barry's been kind of adamant that we haven't talked a lot of pop culture stuff, and a big pop culture event happened. So we're going to play catch up with this episode, and Barry first is going to kind of go over some DC news for those of you, and then we'll dive into some theme park stuff later on.
Yeah, even though it happened a couple weeks ago, I mean, a lot of huge stuff came out of DC FanDome. First on the video game front, we've got to see the first basically trailers and in some cases gameplay footage for Gotham Knights. The new, I can't really call it, I guess you could say Bat Family video game, because for the first time, Batman is allegedly not there, and you will be taking either Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, or the Red Hood to stop all the villains in Gotham. And we got to see a trailer for that, which looked amazing, especially considering this is probably one of sort of the few last big games of this generation. I can't remember if they are going to come out with a version for the new consoles too, but I mean, we're at the end of PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One's lifespan. So they're pretty much being pushed to the limit for this game, and it looked impressive. And the fact that you get to do something different, you get to do the major Bat Family characters, and they're taking on all of Batman's villains, including introducing for the first time, I think, in the video game universe, the Court of Owls, which is like something I believe in the last 10-15 years is a major piece of Batman mythology that was added to the universe. Yeah. So it looks pretty cool.
I was,
and then we saw a Suicide. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say I was excited about the game, and then I saw gameplay, and there were a few things that had me a little concerned about the gameplay, like the way the leveling up is gonna work, and because I watched the trailer and then I watched the gameplay trailer, and they're gonna do like this leveling up thing, and it didn't quite sit.
Yeah, because it's more of an action, I think, / RPG.
Yeah,
too,
it's gonna be like an
level up, and
and I don't know how I feel about that with a game like a Batman like fighting game. I don't know. I'll definitely try it and see how it goes, but I was kind of weirded out that it looked like almost like an RPG like fighting system.
Yeah.
But anyways, go on about the one game that I was really surprised about, the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad, was it Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is basically the subtitle, and we basically got a trailer using the in-game engine, which this game is pure next gen, because I believe it's not even coming to 2022, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's not. It's going to be PS5 and Xbox Series X. I mean, so
it was very impressive looking, and basically got a trailer for it. It continues in the Arkham universe from what they released about it, because it is, I believe, what Rocksteady or Warner is doing this.
Yeah, it's from the
Warner Brothers
Montreal. Yeah,
Warner Brothers Montreal. So it's the same developers of the Arkham games, and it looks pretty damn amazing. Albeit, like I said, we basically got a trailer using the in-game engine. This is what I mean. This is next gen. I mean, it was the idea that
the villain's going to be Brainiac in this one, from what I was getting at, and he was Superman was, from what I got from the trailer, was Suicide Squad was sent in to kill this alpha target, and the alpha target ended up being Superman controlled by Brainiac, which is bizarre. But no, it looked really awesome. I think out of the two video games, I was more excited for this one. I mean, come on, a Suicide Squad video game next gen.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's definitely exciting, and but moving on past video games, movies. We basically got some news and some trailers. First up, not the thing and I don't think Clinton is most excited for. We got a trailer for the Justice League Snyder Cut, aka the director's cut, which will be coming to HBO Max as a 4-hour miniseries.
That I did like. I liked how I don't know if that was a rumor or that was a surprise to everybody that it's going to be cut up into hour-long series, segments, whatever you want to call it. Because there's no way that I could sit through a 4-hour Justice League movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and it's very reminiscent of what they did on Netflix with Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight. He expanded it and they divided it up into episodes.
Yeah.
And I mean, there had always been the rumor that like the original cut for this film was like 3.5 hours long or something. And
yeah,
you know, they are shooting additional footage. They're doing additional special effects. We got to see some things in the trailer that no one had ever seen before. We got to see Darkseid, who's probably DC's maybe most infamous villain or biggest villain.
Yeah.
You know, we got to see a lot of things. We got to see Superman in the black suit that we had only ever seen, I think, still pictures of. You know, so I'm excited. If it ends up being better than what the Justice League movie that was released, then yay. I mean, we still have, you know, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. We still got Jason Momoa's Aquaman. They're still around in this universe. The Flash, you know, speaking of The Flash, we got more about the movie that's, you know, I don't know how many directors and writers have been through that movie so far, but we got a piece of concept art showing Michael Keaton's Batman in the background, because, you know, Flash will be going to different universes in the multiverse, which is where DC is going now. You know, Marvel Cinematic Universe is, you know, sort of, you know, all part of one universe. DC is going with the thing that all the different characters, you know, TV, animated, movies, they're in a multiverse.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have a feeling they're going to use the Flash movie to sort of tie some of those things together.
Interesting.
You know, so because you got to imagine at some point they're going to do another Justice League movie.
Yeah.
You know, Aquaman's successful, Wonder Woman's successful. You know, we're about to get another Batman. How do you bring that Batman into this universe? Maybe something the Flash does causes things to happen. But, you know, we only saw concept art for that. Of course, we saw a trailer for the Batman, which you know, considering they only have shot 25% of that movie, it was a damn impressive trailer.
Yeah, I think everybody
and who knew?
Taken back by that.
I mean, who knew? I wasn't excited for another Batman movie, and then I see the trailer, and it's like, oh, now I'm excited for another Batman movie.
Yeah. Who knew Robert Pattinson could pull off a Batman, and he, from, like you said, only 25% of the 25% of the movie's been filmed. And remember, it was announced that they somebody on the set of Batman came down with COVID-19 and it ended up being him. So hopefully,
they had just started filming again.
Yeah, so hopefully, you know, get well soon, Robert. So, you know, we can get back on track with this thing. But, you know, no, the trailer was I was thoroughly impressed with the dark, gritty kind of vibe of this movie, which is, you know, what Batman needs, you know, and I was excited for it. So it looked really cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, you know, I'm hoping, you know, from all signs, we're finally getting a Batman that's more like the comics. Like, you know, there's a reason he's called the world's greatest detective, because he uses his wits and his skills, and it's not about gadgets, which has always been one of the issues with the movies is like way too leaning on all the gadgets and everything. And then of course, last but not least,
have to see his mom die again for the 8,000th time.
I know,
falling to the floor.
Yeah, just do a flashback, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and then last but not least, we finally got a real trailer for the Wonder Woman 84 movie, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, I was surprised by this trailer with what's her name from Ghostbusters? Kristen Wiig.
Oh, you mean
Cheetah.
Kristen Wiig from SNL.
It's so bizarre seeing her as like this supervillain for a DC movie. Like I was like, she looked great, but I was like, it's so bizarre seeing her as like a supervillain for not even just a DC movie, but like any movie. Her portraying a villain is really interesting. So it'll be cool to see how she pulls that off. But no, the trailer was really cool.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It's like I said, Wonder Woman's been one of the most successful things to come out of the whole Snyder universe. And we've been waiting. It's another one of these movies we've been waiting for months now, and hopefully we will still get it in November.
Her going full.
So yeah, I mean that's
her going full Spider-Man on the lightning bolts. That was insane.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's cool.
There was so many badass moments in that.
Yeah.
So that's the big stuff from DC FanDome, and I believe they're going to have another event coming up here that's more focused on some of the other things, because they ended up dividing the event into 2 separate events. So yeah, Marvel, the ball is in your court now. It has been radio silence for months. Outside of Chadwick Boseman passing away, which I think shocked everybody.
We never had time to chat about that either.
Yeah, I mean, he had kept his cancer a secret and had been diagnosed 4 years ago and had been working through this entire time.
Yeah.
Which is just mind blowing, but it's like, I mean, everybody deals with things in different ways. He obviously wanted to keep working.
Yeah.
And maybe he realized his time could be limited, and wanted to just do as many things as he could in that time. And it's a shock. It shocked the living crap out of a lot of people, including us. And we're not going to discuss. Maybe in some future episode we'll discuss what Marvel's going to do, but now is not the time to discuss that.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for that sort of thing. But like you said, now is not the time. It was shocking. To say the least, to put it lightly. So.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. But it will definitely something we'll talk about on a future podcast. But like I said, Marvel's been pretty quiet. It's been, we don't know, about a lot of things, outside of Black Widow's coming in November still.
What do you think they're doing? Do you think they're just kind of playing the waiting game and seeing what's going on with with coronavirus and the movie theaters?
One of the problems they had is they just with the timing of coronavirus, so many things they hadn't started filming.
Yeah.
They had finished Black Widow and the Eternals, but they hadn't started filming Doctor Strange. Spider-Man hadn't started filming. Which is weird for Marvel. Marvel, some of their stuff, they start like a year and a half in advance. So
I mean, they just went and they did all those announcements. The timeline and Love and Thunder, and all that, and
a lot of it goes back. Oh God, how did we forget the Suicide Squad? A lot of it goes, which
the cast announcement.
The cast announcement trailer, and then the behind the scenes trailer. And yes, we're excited about the Suicide Squad. It looks freaking amazing. But that takes us back to James Gunn and his firing off Guardians 3 threw this phase of Marvel's schedule completely out of whack.
There was a lot of discussion about how much that threw things off, his firing, and then him kind of coming back now, and how that threw a wrench into the whole mess.
I mean, it's we're going, albeit when everything starts back up. I mean, I think it's either next year or the year after. We're going to get 4 Marvel films in 1 year on top of all the TV shows. So it's
There's going to be a lot of movies next year.
It's just next year is hands down the most packed film year I have ever seen. But that's, we're going to have plenty to talk about next year. But talking about right now, and speaking of films being released again, two films have that were originally supposed to come to theaters have come out on demand. And in one case, Mulan, you have to be a Disney Plus subscriber to watch it. And
you just watched it, right?
I mean, I just watched it. Yes, I plucked down the $30. It was worth every penny to finally get to see this film. I've been waiting 6 months, almost 6 months to see. And I'm not going to spoil anything. All I will say is I think it's the best live action remake Disney has done so far. The cinematography is beautiful. The action sequences are really impressive. And I liked the things they did to the story. There's a lot of nice little callbacks to the animated movie, but it definitely forges its own path, which, that's, to me, is, it's probably one of the things, if you listen to this podcast, you've heard us complain about so many times with the live action remakes, is they're just retreads. This is not a retread. This is a different story, and it does have some of the same beats as the animated film, but I loved it. I thought it was great. Super well done. And I haven't seen a major blockbuster movie since March, in the theaters, and it was nice to see a real major film. It sucked to have to watch this at home, but hey, it was worth it.
We haven't seen it yet. We've been kind of debating on choking up the $30 and just doing it, or waiting until.
I'm going to be interested to see how this does, because outside of the first couple of days, the social media, it's not really trending as much, and that worries me.
Yeah.
That it's not going to do as well as Disney hopes it does. And I hate to say, everybody, you better hope it does well.
There were a lot of people saying that. There were a lot of people saying, you need to spend the money on this movie. And
I mean, if it doesn't do well, then it's you can kiss them ever doing this again goodbye.
Yeah.
It's gonna. I mean, after next year, it's going to be interesting with movies, because if situations don't get better in the theaters, then they're not going to spend $200 million on films anymore. It's just, it's just not. We could see the next Avengers could be a 4-part miniseries on Disney Plus. It's like,
this whole coronavirus thing has been really interesting for movie studios to kind of play with their streaming services. In the biggest case, Disney, I mean, we had Onward was one that came to streaming, and
Hamilton,
yeah. So there are movies that are coming straight to Disney Plus, but Mulan was the first one to introduce this Premier Access thing for $30, and you basically get it, August, September, 3-4 months early.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it accidentally got out when it was going to be free on Disney Plus. I think that was stupid for them to say that. It's just I find
it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I mean that was just
like, if you go to Disney Plus and you click on it, it says free starting December, whatever it is, 7th or whatever.
I just feel like that was, whoever did that was an idiot.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and it's interesting because the windows were supposed to be for these films. It would come out in the movie theater. 3 months later, it would come out to buy.
Yeah.
And then 3 months after that, it would show up on Disney Plus. And now Disney just keeps shrinking the window. And it's like, I understand they're trying to push it's like, I guess they're almost like they're willing to take a loss to push as many people to Disney Plus as possible. Obviously, the Hamilton experiment worked because they gained like what was over 10 million subscribers in one weekend.
Yeah.
Whether those people stay or not, we'll see. But it's
John says, "Do you think Marvel's silence has anything to do with Disney Corporation financial status?"
No, I just think they Marvel makes their announcements and then they've been pretty quiet. I think the big thing that's up in the air is Falcon and the Winter Soldier is like, are we going to get it before the end of the year?
Yeah.
They're supposed to start back up anytime soon now, filming. If they haven't
John,
already.
No, like Barry was saying, I think it was, it's psychology. If somebody goes on Disney Plus and they see the premiere access thing for $30 and then they see free on December, whatever it is, 4th. I think it's a psychology thing. If they didn't have that up there, people would be a little more enticed to spend the $30, and then they see December and they're like, I can wait. I can wait 2 or 3 months.
I thought they originally were probably going to do like December. It would come out on like Blu-ray, digital, and then next year it would be available for free on Disney Plus.
No, it's right there on Disney Plus.
And now the only thing I can think of is they're
free.
It's going to be part of their push before Christmas to get people to sign up for Disney Plus. It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Because obviously, they were we got Mandalorians coming in October, but it's like, now Falcon and Winter Soldier, we don't know when that's coming.
A lot of uncertainty.
WandaVision was supposed to be out before the end of the year, so they don't have a lot now in this back half of the year to advertise. So maybe they just thought, all right, well, we're just going to say, hey, it'll be here in December.
Hey, we got my Trick or Treat short on Disney Plus. I'm happy. I saw that the other day. And I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I hadn't seen that in ages. So, anyways, is that everything you got up your sleeves for? Or no,
I think we want to talk Bill and Ted, which was another one that was supposed to be out this summer, and I guess came out on demand and in some theaters too.
For those of you watching the live stream, we will keep it spoiler free.
Yeah, I mean, I got to watch. I ended up buying the $34.99 bundle that included all 3 movies, and that was the cool thing they did do is like, oh, you can rent it for $19.99, or if you pay $5 more, you can buy it for $24.99. You can buy that movie or if you pay $10 more, you can get all 3 movies, which is a pretty good deal, especially considering Bogus Journey is hard to find.
It is. It's not an easy movie to find if you want it on DVD, Blu-ray.
I was shocked to see it on TV the other day because I can't even remember the last time I ever even stumbled upon it on television.
We recorded that because we let Jordan watch Excellent Adventure, and unfortunately he skipped Bogus Journey, and we let him watch the new one, so he was a little confused.
I mean. I loved the movie. I realized we had to wait so long, but whatever the wait was, they found like the perfect story to sort of end, to sum up everything and did it so well. And it was very funny, very sweet too at times.
It was, it had that very heartfelt kind of warm, fuzzy, fun, to give the movie a bunch of adjectives, Bill and Ted feel to it. The whole movie did.
They did a great job. Did a great, the actresses who played their daughters, which is just hilarious that Bill and Ted have ended up with daughters.
I know.
It's just, the way the whole story tied in the end was just, it brought a little tear to my eye. It was very sweet.
It was. I liked it.
And very funny.
I think the only issue I had was how abruptly it ends.
Yeah, that was sort of weird. I think
that was the only really weird issue I had with it. Not the way it ended, but just how abruptly it just went, there's the end. Yeah. Movie's over. I was like, there's no there was no I don't know. I was waiting for that ending moment, and the ending wasn't that ending moment. It was I was so weirded out by the way it ended, but other than that, I loved it. It was everything Bill and Ted movies should be and have been, and I loved it. So yeah, good stuff. So all right, are we gonna dive into some theme park goodies now? Because I have a shopping list here.
Yes, that's
For those of you watching, my shopping list. First things first. Yet another thing that we're not going to be able to cover for you guys this year, IAAPA 2020, IAAPA Expo 2020.
shocked, I tell you, shocked.
Yeah. Everybody saw this coming. IAAPA Expo 2020 has been canceled. I think they put out a date that they were going to announce by September, early September, that they were going to have an announcement, and we got it. They are going to hold a virtual conference instead, November 16th through the 18th, for vendors. So that's a thing. And they also mentioned that all IAAPA 2021 conferences are still on. They're Asia, the one here in Orlando, and what's the other one that they do? Is it in Europe or yeah? They said all those are still on as of this moment. So I said I made a joke on Twitter. I was like, I'm not going to have any exercises here between no Halloween Horror Nights and now no IAAPA. I'm not going to have a show floor to walk around for.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what happens next year. I mean, this is an event that grew and grew and grew to the point, there had been talk of them expanding it. They had expanded into temporary tents in the parking lot.
Tents, yeah.
And there had been talk of them also taking over part of the east and west building. And
yeah, because they added those two tents over the last couple of years, right outside the building.
I gotta imagine, if fingers crossed it returns next year, it's going to be a smaller event. A lot of these companies are not going to survive.
Yeah.
Or have the money to spend to come to we've already had this talk before. We're wondering, once this is over with, how conventions, not just like IAAPA, but Comic-Cons, anime, all that stuff, how that's going to be, and we'll see.
Didn't Orange County announce that they're delaying their, what was it, like $600 million expansion of the convention center too?
Yeah,
that was about to get greenlit.
They pretty much canceled it, even though they already spent millions.
Yeah.
It was the smart thing to do. It was stupid that they were still continuing to even think about going forward with it, because convention business is not coming back.
At least it's full force like it has
full
been,
force. Yeah. It's going to take a while if that does happen. So but yeah, it wasn't surprising. So I mean, we'll see how things happen next year.
Yeah, there's no way that they could have held a huge giant convention, with everything going on, the way it is right now. I didn't see it happening. So that wasn't a surprise. Whereas, when Halloween Horror Nights was announced that it was canceled, it was more of a mixed bag for me as far as emotions. But we love IAAPA. We cover it every year. The last couple of years we've done podcast episodes, walking around with our digital recorder, recording a ThrillGeek podcast episode with different companies. So,
yeah.
I'll miss that, but like I said, I won't miss trucking around the show floor, doing thousands of steps every day.
It'll be. I hate to say this, but it will be almost nice to take a year off, because I will admit, last year I know so many people are always excited when they get to go. I was bored out of my mind last year.
It becomes, I've been doing IAAPA since 2000, probably the early 2000s, and it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't have to change. A lot of these companies have the same booth, the same setup every year. So, it does get repetitive for those of us that are going there for the more, quote, fun aspects of it, of, chatting with the industry, but
yeah, I mean, it's been more about, getting to see some people that I'm lucky if I get to see once a year. So it's like,
and,
fortunately I won't get to see them this year.
Yeah. Exactly. And the podcast aspect of it was a lot of fun, that we've done over the past couple of years, getting to talk with people and doing the podcast thing. So moving on here, some international news. Universal Studios Japan finally came out and announced that their Halloween Horror Nights event has been canceled. But they're not canceling everything Halloween. They are going to have a family-friendly event with costume characters, special food and merchandise. So it's good to see that Universal Studios Japan is doing, they have, and that's one thing about Universal Studios over here. that I wish we had some sort of. I wish Universal Studios had some sort of family friendly Halloween event to fall back on. We just have Halloween Horror Nights, which I'm not complaining about.
I mean, their Halloween Horror Nights is an extra, even though I think some of the mazes are like an upcharge. But yeah, it's a combination of a family event, and then usually after dark, it becomes a little bit more horror, but there's still some family stuff going on too. You know, it's a weird mixture. But yeah, the Festa Day Parade, the Halloween Horror Nights mazes aren't being held. But they'll still have the family friendly characters, like they have, besides the Minions, they have like Hello Kitty, and they have the Sesame Street characters and the Peanuts characters there at that park. So they'll be in their Halloween costumes like they normally do every year. And I
love some of the merchandise too. I was looking at some of the Universal Studios Japan non-Halloween Horror Nights merchandise, and like the Snoopy stuff says Horror Nights on it, and it's like, what? It's so weird.
Yeah, no, I mean, for those of you who have enjoyed like the Halloween like Minion stuff that we've seen the last couple of years, all that came from Universal Studios Japan. It's so they'll still be doing some of that type of stuff. They did also announce that their New Year's Eve celebration, the Universal Countdown Party, will not be held this year. That's not surprising.
I forgot to jot that down here. Yeah, their New Year's Eve thing won't be happening as well. So cool to see Universal Studios Japan doing something for Halloween for the family. And
at least they're doing something. And Tokyo Disney canceled all their special events. So it's even though I'll be interested to see with Tokyo Disney too, because I imagine Universal is still going to decorate for Christmas. I'll be interested to see if Tokyo Disney still decides to decorate for Christmas. They might.
I think Christmas is a bigger deal than as far as decorations go. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, both places do Halloween up pretty freaking huge, and Christmas is definitely an even bigger thing for both resorts there, and it'll be interesting to see what they still do this year.
Speaking of, got a little segue here. Speaking of fall decor at theme parks, we finally got confirmation that fall decorations and some things are coming to Magic Kingdom for the fall/Halloween to the Magic Kingdom. It'll be September 15th, so coming up here in about a week and a day. September 15th through Halloween Day, October 31st. Halloween will be coming to the Magic Kingdom for the first time ever. Adults will be allowed to wear costumes, and there will be special character cavalcades, and it looks like that they're pretty much bringing the menu that they normally have during Mickey's Not So Scary, just basically all the specialty Halloween food to the day guests, pretty much.
Yeah, and some of that is already kicked off already. They've already got the Leota sippers, and the Constance cake and stuff like that. They've already got some of it already, but all of it will be out starting September 15th. This is what, we had this discussion before. This is what we were hoping for, bare minimum, to get the Halloween decorations up, to get like a cavalcade, with the characters in their Halloween costumes. And I guess I apparently get, the cavalcade with characters in Halloween costumes. And I'm sure some of the other appearances the characters make, they will have their Halloween costumes on. So, hey, I mean, it's something. It's better than nothing. I mean, it's definitely going to make it harder to get into the Magic Kingdom in the next month and a half than it already was. So
I'll have to see if we can squeeze one day in, with the family just to
and hopefully maybe if the demand's enough, maybe they'll expand the hours a little bit. Because you would want to go and segue into the next thing, or you got one more thing before that? Legoland.
Really quick, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but Legoland did announce that Brick or Treat is coming back. We've had a lot of announcements of specialty Halloween events. SeaWorld confirmed Christmas and Halloween events. Legoland Brick or Treat is returning some real quick things. They're going to have 6 trick or treat locations. Obviously, all employees are going to be wearing face coverings, which means face shield, face mask. The Grooven Graveyard and a candy-coated curse shows are returning. There's going to be special Halloween characters, and they're going to be up on raised platforms for safety reasons. And then, usually with these Legoland, the seasonal events, the Christmas and the Halloween, you can participate in making a giant Lego mural by building your own little piece, and then they add it to that giant mural. They're still going to do that, but obviously with COVID-19, they're going to take a few precautions, and the pieces that you're going to build with, instead of you going into giant buckets of Legos, they're all going to be pre-bagged. So, kids can go up, get a bag of Legos, build their piece, and then they'll add it to the mural. And then I think that was it. And the giant mosaic is going to be apparently a pirate shipwreck. So it's good to see Legoland, bringing back Trick or Treat, Brick or Treat, and doing something for the kids. I love Brick or Treat. We go down there with the kids, and we always have a good time. So, anyways, I just wanted to quick mention that. And yeah, now we can dive into all these hotels and closures and extensions and all this all this fun going on with Disney and Universal. The first big news was Polynesian is staying closed until summer 2021. And this doesn't include the bungalows and the whatchamacallit, the DVC or the
DVC stuff.
The DVC section, yeah. So that was one of the bigger announcements of anything being delayed, pushed back. And apparently they are going to be doing some work during this time for refurbishment, and everybody wanted their waterfall lobby back, but I don't think that's going to happen. Apparently they're testing out some Moana rooms from what I saw. Which is
apparently we're going to get some Moana rooms and maybe some other Moana touches around the resort, which is apparently there had been a rumor that they were going to build a DVC tower there, which that would have been just weird looking
at Polynesian.
At Polynesian. So hey, maybe that's a good thing that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's I know a lot of people love staying there. But I realized it was the lobby area and the front entrance that had gotten the update a few years ago, but apparently the rooms have not been updated in a while.
Yeah, and apparently that's what this is going to be.
Outside of the ones that were converted to DVC, those are the only ones that got an update. So I guess it's just going to be faster for them to be able to shut down parts of the resort and redo stuff that way than having it reopen, which, in one aspect, they're sort of, that's a monorail resort. The rooms are not cheap there. So it's but I guess they decided go ahead and get it done. Over at Universal, they were really the first to cut hours, and then closing Adventura and Sapphire Falls, and announcing that basically Portofino and Dockside,
yeah.
Which still has not opened to the public.
Yeah, that never opened. Yeah. Surfside did, for those of you.
Yeah,
I get those two confused. Surfside is open. Dockside is not.
So basically, those 4 resorts are going to remain closed for the remainder of the year. There were a bunch of
I think the Dockside thing was like one of the last media events we went to. Universal invited us out to check out the Dockside back in March, I want to say.
Beginning of March. Yeah, beginning of March.
And then, obviously everything went downhill from there. So, Universal announced that Portofino, Sapphire Falls, Aventura, Endless Summer Dockside are pretty much remaining closed, or in Dockside's respect, won't be opening at all for the rest of 2020.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I think Sapphire Falls was really and Aventura were really not doing well, and part of the reason Sapphire Falls is really their business is convention business. They're like and in some aspects Adventura too, because the whole convention center is at the Royal Pacific.
Yep.
The Sapphire Falls and Aventura were sort of the lesser expensive options to stay at if there's a convention. Sapphire Falls had some huge ballrooms too.
Yeah, they're all kind of in that same area. I mean, you've got Aventura, you've got Sapphire, and you've got Royal Pacific, all kind of within that center kind of area. So
so it's Sapphire really mainly was used, like I said, did a lot of convention business. It was like the less expensive option, and same thing. Aventura was targeted sort of at convention and also young adults and stuff. Which I don't know why would you stay at Aventura when you got beautiful Cabana Bay across the street?
Yeah,
but to each their own. But yeah, I mean, it's sad. It's obviously, Universal did try with reopening some of these places, and unfortunately, a lot of people got laid off. They cut the park hours back, even though they've had to turn around and expand them again on the weekends because, as we'll get into here, also with Disney, basically tomorrow starts the cutback part on the park hours. Universal, with their cutting back their hours, have really, and then offering that, buy one get the rest of the year
free
through December 24th free. Weekends have become very, very busy there.
They have,
and it's interesting how much of that's going to happen with Disney. Obviously, it did this past weekend. With it being Labor Day weekend, and for the first time on all three tiers, annual pass holders, day of tickets, and resort guests, there was no availability for any of the parks this weekend. And they were hands down the busiest they've been since the parks opened.
Yep, they were.
Albeit now during the week, it's going to be dead. But, there's been a lot of discussion, and I sometimes wonder, you're almost sort of screwing yourselves on the weekends now, because with no evening hours for locals to come after work, and albeit realize that as of right now, as far as we know, at least with Disney, half the guests that are coming to the parks are local, or at least state of Florida.
Yeah.
And I got to imagine with the Universal, that number's got to be 60-70%.
Yeah. Like you said, especially with this new ticket deal and, just pass holders in general.
With no ability for you to come during the week, like, a few hours after work. Because, I mean, most pass holders, a lot of us, we only go to the parks for a few hours.
Yeah. We're not there 6-7 hours.
We've already seen with Universal, it's turning weekends into a madhouse. And, it's like, I almost wonder, I feel like why not experiment? Why not have a park open from noon to 9 p.m. or 1 to 9 p.m.? What do you got to lose? It's just, why not try it? Why not stagger it more than just 1 hour? Stagger it by a few hours, keep IOA, open IOA from noon to 8 instead of like 10 to 7 or noon to 9,
Yeah.
It's like, try it, even if it's just 1 day a week. See if it makes a difference. It's just,
Volcano Bay is also closing on Tuesdays and Thursdays now. That's another thing that we didn't mention here. I think that started this week or last week. I don't have the date here, but I Tuesdays and Thursdays, Volcano Bay will be closed now. So it's interesting times with all these adjustments and everything between both Disney and Universal. And like we said, go ahead.
And especially if the weekends become such a bad experience, you're going to turn people off.
Yeah. Because face it, that's when people want to go to the theme parks, is on the weekends. Especially pass holders, locals, I mean, obviously, everybody, not everybody, but, a lot of people work Monday through Friday, and, the only time they have to go to the park is the weekends. With them closing earlier and earlier during the weekdays, they're not giving people the opportunity, to come to the park after work for a few hours. So it's interesting.
Yeah. And especially And especially here, there is a severe lack of things to do at night here. There's almost nothing to do at night. I mean, and that's why Disney Springs ends up packed in the evenings, because there's
nothing
or there's nothing to do. So it's like, why not experiment with one day a week, keeping a park open till like 9 or 10 o'clock or 8, or 8. So and albeit, yeah, we all prefer theme parks at night. So it'll be
getting any horror nights this year too. Let's open up the parks at night.
Yeah, so it's yes, it is harder to enforce masks at night, but if you have enough cast members out and about, then it can be done. So it's I think that's been one, some of the things I've heard complaints about is like just them not deploying enough cast members or team members for mask enforcement, or when the crowds get up to a certain point, you're going to wait in longer lines. Wait circle time is going to be longer, not because it's how busy it is. It's just you're doing a reduced capacity. Coasters, you're only loading every other seat. Some attractions, you're only loading, sometimes a single rider in a vehicle, which is one of the most fun things ever on Rise of the Resistance. But it's like, it's you're dealing with reduced capacity, so crowds are already going to feel worse than it is. And just the fact, the whole coronavirus thing, it just feels weird being around a bunch of people. It's just like, get away from me. I don't want to be near you.
No, we all got that mindset now, of like, just don't come near me, and give me my space.
I mean, because it was busy this weekend, and albeit, Sin and I went to Animal Kingdom the last 2 hours it was open, and we had a great time. And for the most part, everyone was leaving, so it's like we walked right on the safari and had a great safari, and then walked around the park, and then waited. I think we got in line for a river journey right before the park closed, and I think waited 10 minutes. It was nice, except for getting caught in a thunderstorm as the park closed, and then watching
That's
lightning
for Florida.
Watch lightning literally strike the Animal Kingdom parking lot. So it was that was interesting. So
I think I skipped over this. We can talk about this really quick before we wrap up here. Disneyland, and they didn't really announce that it was delayed, but they posted pictures of their version of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway going vertical. The first steel pieces went up, and then they said opening in 2023. So that pretty much confirmed that their version of Runaway Railway will be coming in 2023 now. So
yeah, I mean, that's not surprising. Everything's pretty much been pushed back, from even though Disney has not made an official announcement, everything we're hearing is Ratatouille's not opening till next year. Avengers Campus is not opening till next year. Obviously, SeaWorld parks, all their stuff's not opening till next year. So there's no point in opening a new attraction anytime soon. And, at least they're still going forward with it, because, we've already seen a bunch of things on the pipeline, or rumored things in the pipeline, that they've stopped doing anything. And
they're still working on Star Wars Hotel. What's it called? Star Cruiser?
Yeah. Galactic Star
Cruiser. Yeah, they're still working on that. So
yeah, I mean, that's going to be an interesting one.
To see how that. It'll be interesting, and we'll never see it as far as what it was going to be, and then what it's going to be when it's finally said and done.
As far as the EPCOT update, we know, Mary Poppins has been at least postponed. The Spaceship Earth redo has been postponed. The restaurant, who knows when the heck that's opening? The space restaurant. We've heard that the spine area that's basically under construction, where, Interventions and Mouse Gear and all that that's being completely, they're going through a redesign for that. That festival center has possibly been completely canned, or there may be a different, smaller version of it.
Because they came out with new posters or something, right? And the Celebration Festival Center was removed from them or something.
I can't remember if they removed the model from the Epcot experience.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they removed the Mary Poppins segment off.
Yeah.
And same thing, Harmonious is not coming until next year either. It's that's pretty, like I said, there's no point, and it's looking like Ratatouille, Harmonious will be rolled into whatever they're now going to do as part of the 50th.
We actually saw, I think BioReconstruct, he posted on Twitter pictures of Harmonious, the 6 or 7
They're still
barges.
Building the barges.
The barges are huge for that show.
Yeah, if that show, I mean, we've only seen minimal, concept video for that show, but if they can pull off the things that they've thought up for that show, that thing's going to be freaking impressive.
Yeah, I mean, just look at those barges.
Oh no, the barges are gigantic.
There's 2 of I was trying to make sense of all the pictures from backstage from them building the barges, but they're massive. If you guys have Twitter, go over to BioReconstruct at BioReconstruct. He's always in the helicopters flying around, taking pictures from the sky, and he got some pictures of these barges for Harmonious, and it's impressive.
And they're full steam ahead on Guardians, and from everything I've heard, they're still working on the Play Pavilion too. So it's it'll be interesting to see, in Tron, they're in the process of working on the canopy, getting the canopy up.
I was there a couple weeks ago with the kids and the wife, and they have the structure on the ground, sections of it ready to go over. They're building the framing for the canopy. I don't know when the actual canopy is going to go up itself over Tron, but they're starting to work on that outside part that's going to be covered. So
you're starting to see a lot more work going on, and I think a lot of that had to do, at least from what some insiders we know online, had to do with their last quarter not being as bad as they thought. That albeit the parks did lose a bunch of money, but overall the company didn't do as bad as they had thought it would do.
Yep.
So it's I think they're like, if we've got the cash on hand right now, let's go ahead and spend what we were already spending, and get this stuff done. So when things hopefully get better, they will have a ton of stuff to advertise. So that seems to be the plan.
Look for a lot of stuff from us next year. I think that's everything I got as far as updates. I know we went a couple weeks. We were saying we were going to go bi-weekly, but we did have a lot of stuff to talk about this week to get caught up, and I think we're gonna stick with bi-weekly probably from here on out.
It's just sometimes like for one of the things we did announce, like my work schedule has changed. But since it's a holiday, I have the evening off, so we're like, screw it. So when I do occasionally have these evenings and I'm free, we may go ahead and just get a podcast out. And
what's up, Johnny?
And like I said, we had plenty to talk about, because we'll probably be doing, even though no HHN this year, there's still going to probably be a couple of podcasts that we end up doing that are going to be very haunt specific.
We're really trying to. I know we've discussed early discussions of doing a little road trip out of state up in Georgia. And speaking of haunts, Mr. Johnny Bronto, Haunt Scene, he's checking us out, watching. And I need to get with him. And speaking of, and figure out, we're gonna try and do some more local haunts this year. Obviously, since Halloween Horror Nights is not happening, we love haunts, just not Halloween Horror Nights. So we do want to get out and we want to do some more local haunts. So maybe we can work something with the podcast into these haunts if we get out there and we reach out to them. This mixer I got's pretty portable. We can bring it out to wherever, a couple microphones, and chat with somebody. So we're working on stuff. So
we've got Scream and Stream coming up. We're fingers crossed. We'll hopefully probably be at opening night of Hallow Scream. We're going to be going to Sir Henry's Trail over in Plant City, and then we'll see. We might do a little road trip up to Georgia, Jacksonville. So we'll see.
we're in the early chat about it. So anyways, that's everything I got. Thank you guys once again for watching in the live stream. We had a lot of chat today. Good stuff. Thank Thanks everybody for watching. John, Michael, Ryan, everybody. I know. I'm trying to check out the regulars. New
yes,
people.
Ian, the People Mover delay. It's now mid-November.
Yeah, Ian, People Mover. Yeah, no People Mover and for a little while. So yeah, sad face. So anyways, all right, Barry, get us on out of here and let's hit the road.
We are at ThrillGeek on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/ThrillGeek. Please like and follow our Facebook page, YouTube.com/ThrillGeek. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got a couple of new videos. We got a ThrillGeek Live from over at Universal, and we also have the food and wine merchandise is now out and about. So we got videos of that. New videos every week on our YouTube channel, ThrillGeek.com for the latest in theme park and pop culture news. And of course, you're listening, and some of you might be watching the ThrillGeek Podcast. Wherever you can get a podcast, you can get the ThrillGeek Podcast.
Yes, you can. Once again, thank you guys for chatting with us in the live stream every week. We really appreciate you guys coming in, chatting with us, hanging out with us. You know, that's why we do these live streams. We love hanging out with you guys and all that stuff. Anyways, thanks guys for listening, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
See you in the parks. Stay spooky.
Yeah. I'm going to steal your line, John. Barry's going to steal your line. Stay spooky. Speaky.
Didn't Emily steal it last one? Spookeasy.
Yeah. See you guys. All right, give that a few seconds. Spook easy, there it is. Spook easy. I love it. It's good stuff. Yeah, Johnny, I think we got it kind of locked down about doing 13th floor up in Jacksonville, and then what's the one up in Atlanta? Netherworld. So
and then possibly swing into Six Flags.
Six Flags.
Might as well while we're there, if we can get free.
Yeah, because they're doing their.
I forgot some version of Halloween.
Yeah, they're not calling it Fright Nights this year. They gave it some other new name because of all the changes and stuff. But they're doing the nighttime coasters in the dark, thing that basically Busch Gardens is doing. So if we could make a weekend trip out of that, and do that, that'd be pretty cool.
Especially to get that. Finally, I haven't ridden that RMC yet.
Oh, Georgia Cyclone.
Yeah. Six Flags Hallow Fest.
I haven't. Yeah. I haven't been to Six Flags over Georgia, since probably Ultimate Flight was new. So that shows you how long it's been since I've been there.
I still have not ridden that because it's like they only run one train on it.
That
so like the only way to I've ridden one of them. The one up in was it Great America? I still have not ridden the one there because it's like they seem to only run one train, so you literally have to ride it first thing. And I don't like flying coasters, so I
don't either. I've slowly been turned off by them over the years.
I like that. It looks like they have just disappeared because I would much rather ride a wing coaster than a flying coaster.
I'm with you 100%. As far as Halloween Horror Nights rumors go, guys, we don't really
delve into it.
Discussing them. There's been some chatter that something's going to happen. But we don't talk about Halloween. I mean, we speculate. But
yeah,
I don't personally like discussing stuff unless it comes from Universal's mouth. And
we have we have a lot of
discussion today that
we know, but.
Yeah, and it's nothing, I don't know how to put this without. I have a lot of friends that work in the industry, so it's more of a respect thing for me, and obviously a job thing for those people.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to we'll discuss rumors. Sure. Was there discussion today of something happening?
Yeah.
Yes, there was.
Yes, there was.
What that thing's going to be. Are they going to do dates, open up the haunted houses during the day? I honestly don't know. And
yeah.
would I personally like to see it? I wouldn't. If you want my personal opinion, I would hope that Universal just carries everything over to next year, what they can, and we get an event next year. Now,
no, I mean it's we try to avoid rumors and because like Clint said, we have a lot of friends in the industry, and we're very lucky that sometimes we get to see stuff before the general public does. But part of the reason we get to see that is because we keep our mouths shut about those things that we see. So
it's a matter of respect, and I have so many friends that work in this industry, and more power to the people that leak this stuff, and post it in for traffic on their website and stuff like that. But for us, it's that's what it is. It's more of a respect thing for me. You don't see us posting rumors as articles. And personally, I've never really wanted to post any rumors. I mean, don't get me wrong. People love discussing rumors, and we'll discuss them. But it's just something that we always take to heart. And it just comes down to being a respect thing. To put it simply. So are we all chomping at the bit for something Halloween Horror Nights? Sure, we are. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. It's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks if something does happen. Obviously, we will bring it to you when Universal officially announces something.
Yeah. If and when.
So obviously keep it tuned to all of our social media channels, and as soon as we officially hear something, guys, we'll post it on. We'll post it on the website, and we'll post it on the social media channels. So,
yeah, it's just hard for us to ever talk about stuff like this because it's like you said, we don't want to betray anybody's trust, and it's one thing when we talk about like projects that are already underway, and then things we hear or hear from certain people. That's one thing, but it's when something is not announced. It's like we usually try to avoid it like a 10-foot pole because that's one of the reasons why certain people come and tell us things because we don't go around blabbing our mouths. So.
Yeah, and it just comes down to a respect thing. I think that's the simplest way I can put it. I respect the people in this industry, and obviously that comes around tenfold, and they obviously see that in us, and they respect us. So and then that's kind of what it is. And I as much as I am for, I shouldn't say I'm for. The people that do leak this stuff and get tons of website YouTube traffic off of it, good for them. But I never started ThrillGeek as a rumor central thing. We love the theme parks, we love going to them, we love obviously ThrillGeek has gotten to the point where we get invited to the media events, and again that's a trust thing. Obviously Disney trusts us, Universal trusts us, and I would rather have that relationship with the parks than leaking stuff and that sort of relationship, which is a bad one in their eyes. So anyways, not to get on an emotional tangent here.
Yes.
But we love Halloween Horror Nights, as you guys know. And I always toot our own horns, as in we're there religiously. It does suck this year that it's not happening. But we, like I said, we're gonna come up with some other creative ways to bring you guys some stuff, and we'll get through this. And next year will be extra fun because, like Barry said earlier in the podcast recording, this is pretty much a year off from us because we the past couple years we've busted our butts, and not to say we haven't done it this year, because running this ship isn't an easy task, even when there's not a lot going on. But I'm considering this a year off. That's kind of the way I've portrayed this whole thing. Is
I mean it sucks, but
off.
I mean, it sucks, but on the other hand, it's like my fall is a little bit more free to do other things, that other projects I'm working on, and going to places I normally don't go. Like, we're going to St. Augustine for a couple nights at the end of the month, staying at a place I never would be able to stay at normally, because it's like more than half off the regular price. So it's like there's been some advantages I'm getting this fall, but there's also been more than 3 trips canceled this year because of all this. And
we were supposed to go to Disneyland this year. We said we were going to go every 5 years on their anniversary, and look where that is.
Yeah, I mean, we were supposed to go to New York City. We were supposed to do a coaster trip through Pennsylvania. We were possibly going back to Japan this year. So that's all off the table because certain people around here can't get their act together. So it's awesome seeing Universal Studios Japan doing some sort of Halloween event. It's like, oh well, yay, because you guys have your crap together over there.
Yep.
And same thing, like a lot of the parks in Europe, are doing Halloween things. So we'll take Halloween however we can this year, and like we said, we're very impressed with Scream and Stream. We haven't really heard much about Haunted Road. They've been very tight-lipped.
Yeah.
And which is weird because it's like you want to get yourself out there.
I've been very impressed with the way Scream and Stream is. They announced their icon tonight. We didn't really talk about that.
Yeah. The Fog Queen.
The Fog Queen. So she looks really cool. And he did talk to us about her face cover. She rips it off, and it's really cool. But yeah, no, I've been really impressed with the way they've done everything with Scream and Stream so far, from their social media interaction to the event itself. So I'm excited to get out there and check it out.
We're gonna get out and check out some other haunts this year. Some of the other stuff over in the Tampa Bay area, we're probably not going to be able to get out to. But I've never been.
What's that other haunt? The Morrow's
Nightmare.
Yeah, we may try and get down there.
We might do that one. I don't think we're going back to Screamageddon this year. So enough said about that.
Yeah. Long story short, they came out. There were some allegations, with their workers and stuff that we don't really agree with. So unfortunately, I don't think Screamageddon will be on the table for us this year.
But we're definitely excited about the possibility of finally getting to go to the 13th floor in Jacksonville, and finally getting to check out Netherworld up outside of Atlanta.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, like I said, we're going to take this opportunity this year to check out some other things.
Yeah, and like I said, we'll do everything we can to see if we can possibly squeeze, the podcast into it somehow, even if it's just a little interview or something. So, we have something on the podcast to bring you guys instead of, because, even during Halloween Horror Nights, we do a lot of pre-Halloween Horror Nights podcasts, and then we'll do one, maybe 1 or 2 periodically. But if you think about it, we really don't do a lot of, once Halloween Horror Nights starts, I mean, occasionally we'll give a little update, but we don't do very many central, or just HHN podcasts, so I think it'll be fairly easy for us to come up with some other ideas for you guys to check out anyways. So anyways.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to get on out of here. Good night, guys. Thanks again for tuning in to the live stream. We appreciate you guys. We love you. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Maybe I'll try and make it out to... I've been trying to get out to Islands of Adventure. I've been, seeing you guys have been enjoying my live streams around the park. And Barry's too when he goes to Animal Kingdom and some of the other parks. So we'll have maybe a couple more of those up, checking out the Jurassic.
One day I'll get back into Hollywood Studios.
So anyways, guys, good night. Be safe. Wear a mask.
Good night.
And we'll see you guys next time.